know that we just did Hispanic art, but we're going to do a short unit on Mesoamerican art, which, as you know from social studies, comes in early history of man in South America and Central America. It covers 3,000 years, so clearly we are not going to be looking at all of the art from that time period. Much of the art done at this time period were stone carvings, some clay, but very little. There were small pieces in jade and huge pieces out of rock, like this head right here. It really came in many different shapes and sizes, but as you can tell, especially considering the time period, they were very artistic. As you can see, they worked not only in 3 dimensions, but they also worked in relief, like this picture here. Very frequently, the work was to honor their rulers or their gods. They built temples and they built relics to honor them. By studying Mesoamerican art, historians have learned a great deal about the time period. They've learned about what their beliefs were. They learned about the tools that they had. They even uncovered some mysteries. But all in all, it's very informative. Artists learn by looking back to previous artists as well. And there are many contemporary artists that still are influenced by this work. One of the most notable things about Mesoamerican art is the writing. They were very detailed. They used them frequently. As you know, they used them in calendars. They used it, and this is a picture of a Mesoamerican codice, which was a method of bill keeping and keeping track of who owed what to whom. It had a very sort of comic book feel to it when you look at it. This is a replica of one, but they're very interesting, and they were kind of folded in this sort of fan shape in order to keep records. The Aztecs also used things to make textiles, weavings, much like the artists that we studied from Hispanic art. They were a way of demonstrating wealth, and there were symbols sort of woven into the materials. Many of the Hispanic artists that we studied, or folk art, was influenced by this work. They were early weavers. They also did some embroidery and created art um, from threads. Another type of work was the mosaic. Um, and the mosaic was done in lots of different ways. It was done to depict the gods. It was done to create demons. And a mosaic is just small pieces. They use stone and sometimes jade to create another picture. So, how would you do art that's been influenced by the Mesoamerican cultures? As I said in the beginning of this video, this is just a very, very brief overview of art in Mesoamerica. It was a 3,000-year time period. So obviously, there were a lot of artists in those 3,000 years that influenced each other and that you were making things for everyday experiences. But what I'd like you to do today is think about, make little thumbnails and think about how can you, as an artist, be influenced by some of these various works.